What's going on, YouTube? This is BBSP. I'm about to make this video in response to some bullshit I heard on Print Sports live stream last night. I brought up the fact that LeBron has had winning stretches against certain players. You know, he has winning records, you know. But difference is he's put up better stats. He's put up a better stat line and his team won. You understand what I'm saying? I could pull up various games to where LeBron has outplayed guys like Kobe, guys like Carmelo, guys like, you name them, Paul Pierce, guys like Kevin Garnett in crunch time situations. But the main thing I'm getting at is they act like Kyrie Irving was carrying LeBron all those in those finals, which is completely and utterly bullshit. They act like LeBron James was a role player in comparison to Kyrie Irving. Okay, like don't get me wrong, Kyrie did his part, but people never look at the big picture of things, right? First of all, if Kyrie was so great, then the Cleveland Cavaliers would have been a lottery team prior to LeBron James coming back. You understand what I'm saying? This ain't no dick riding. This ain't no fanboy type shit. These are facts. You understand? This is fact. When Kyrie Irving got drafted, Cleveland Cavaliers were a lottery team. They were still a lottery team a couple years before LeBron got there, okay? And this is the same guy that was getting in the fights with Byron Scott, disrespecting him as the coach, getting in the fights with Dion Waiters, Alonzo G, Michael Bennett. I mean, and you want to say he was a number one draft pick, right? Well, Michael Olowokandi was a number one draft pick. Greg Oden was a number one draft pick. You know what I mean? Joe Smith was a number one draft pick. You know? So just because somebody goes number one don't mean that they're going to pan out into a superstar. You know, not every number one pick, unless you're supremely gifted, supremely talented, is going to pan out. You know? Kyrie was nobody but a souped up Stephon Marbury, you know what I mean? And this ain't no slight. This is facts. Cleveland was a lottery team. Cleveland didn't even come close to sniffing the playoffs and winning again until LeBron came back. You got people out here who actually think that Kyrie is a better playoff performer than LeBron James, which is completely and utterly bullshit. Completely and utter bullshit, okay? Like, they'll use one series, 2016, right? 2016, as a way to diminish LeBron, you know? As to say, oh, he ain't good enough, oh, he got carried, which is bullshit, which I don't understand. Did Magic carry Kareem? Vice versa? Did Mikhail and Paris carry Larry Bird? You know? I can go on and on, you know? Did Scottie Pippen carry Michael Jordan? So we need to start with this eye test, you know what I mean? And come up with actual context. Kyrie couldn't even make the playoffs before LeBron got to Cleveland. You understand what I'm saying? And even if LeBron didn't go back to Cleveland, let's say for the sake of argument, they make the playoffs one time. Do you even see a team with just Kyrie and Kevin Love making it to the Eastern Conference Finals? I mean, people are so overrating Kyrie Irving, acting like they living off a shot that happened 5 years ago. And what happened since then? He's been a no-show in the 2017 finals. He was a no-show in the 2017 finals. 2018, he's hurt. Boston gets to the Eastern Conference Finals without him, right? Next year, they get Kyrie back. They struggle. and they get waxed by the Milwaukee Bucks. The same weak Eastern Conference that's supposedly the weakest conference, the year after LeBron left that Eastern Conference. If the Eastern Conference is so weak, then how can Kyrie Irving at least get to the finals, lead his team to the finals? Then last year, he was injury prone yet again. Yet again, he was injury prone. So you can't tell me that this guy, all of a sudden, you're going to prop this guy up as some type of superstar player, right? I mean, you can make the argument now he's going to be the third best player on the Nets. And that's what he's going to be when Kevin Durant comes back. When Kevin Durant comes back, you're not going to be seeing these 40-point games or 30-point games. You know what I mean? He's going to have to take a step back. They only played 7 games together. And the main reason for this win streak right now is because what Kyrie is doing. You think Kyrie's going to be doing all this everything when KD gets back? No. Ain't no way. He's going to have to be the third option. Because number one, you taking him over Kevin Durant? Nope. You're taking him over James Harden, who can facilitate and run the offense? Nope. So where does that leave Kyrie? Kyrie at best is a top 20 player in the NBA right now. Top 20, maybe top 15. Even back in 2016, you would be hard pressed during that time in Cleveland to even put him in the top 10. Maybe, he was top 5 point guards, yeah. But top 10 overall player, no. No way. Not when you had Dame Lillard, still had CP3, Steph, of course, who won MVP, and Russell Westbrook. To me, Russell Westbrook impacts the game more than Kyrie Irving does because he won an MVP. Put Kyrie Irving on that Oklahoma City Thunder team the year after Kevin Durant left. You think they're winning 45 games? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, man. So we got to stop this. Let's prop up Kyrie Irving to diminish LeBron or all this stuff. People fail to use context. Okay? That entire playoffs, Kyrie Irving was, I'd say, was slightly above average. But like I said again, does anybody honestly see a team with Kyrie Irving as the head leading a team to the finals? No, not even close. Not even close, man. Like I said again, man, people fail to use context when it comes to this argument. Kyrie was probably the second best player on the Cavs. Here now with the Nets, he'll be third because James Harden runs circles around Kevin Love, okay? James Harden runs circles around Kevin Love. Kevin Love is probably the most overrated player in the league. Nobody was even gave Kevin Love a thought until he played with LeBron. Yeah, he was putting up nice numbers in Minnesota, but so did Karl Anthony Towns. Nobody says Karl Anthony Towns is a top 10 player in the league. Nobody's putting Karl Anthony Towns on that level. So come on, man. Stop with this. We need to stop this with this revisionist history, man. It seemed like LeBron is the only superstar that's not allowed to play with other players. And here's the thing. Let's, for instance, hypothetically, LeBron doesn't go back to Cleveland, right? Right? If Kyrie is this alpha superstar scorer who's clutch, right? Does anybody really see Kyrie Irving leading the 2016 Cavs at least to the finals? Because I don't. He doesn't bring to the table what other players bring to the table, okay? I mean, if you put Klay Thompson on that 2016 Cavs, I still think they win the championship. Put Klay Thompson on that 2016 Cavs, I still think they win the championship. And again, let's go to 2017. Why didn't Kyrie show up in the 2017 finals? If he carried LeBron, how come he couldn't carry LeBron against the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant? Can anybody answer that question? Forget 2016. If Kyrie's such an alpha, how come he couldn't carry Kevin Durant? Excuse me, how come he couldn't carry LeBron to a championship in 2017 if he carried him in 2016? So everybody says, but yeah, I mean, I'm just sick and tired of this whole BS narrative that Kyrie carried LeBron in the 2016 finals, which is far from the case. But you're going to have people out here that call me a dick rider, call me a broad and sexual and all that bullshit. I'm just stating facts here. You're just ignoring shit. People are out here ignoring shit and being biased, especially those people on Prince's live stream. They may not have, they say they're unbiased and fair, but they're biased. You can tell who's a fan of a certain player who's actually being honest and biased. You can tell who's a fan of Jordan, who's a fan of Kobe, who's a fan of LeBron, who's a fan of anybody. You name it, Steph. You can tell who's being a fanboy, who's actually being objective. You know? And you got a lot of people out here on YouTube who fanboy for, ride for their fanboy for their certain player. Nah, that's not me. I'm a basketball, I view basketball more objectively than I'm going to be more a fan of a favorite player. But the reason I root for LeBron James is because of shit like this. Saying he got carried or saying he can't take over a game, which is bullshit. And I disagree with you, Prince. I'm sorry, man. I disagree with you. He's never, the teams that LeBron James been on wouldn't have gotten far without him. Without him being on those teams, they wouldn't have got far. You think the Lakers are winning the championship last year with just AD? I don't. Think those Miami Heat teams with just D Wade and Bosh are winning the championship? No. So we need to cut out this whole thing that one player wins the championship. Even Michael Jordan himself ultimately needed Scottie Pippen in some aspects, even though Mike was the dominant and most impactful player. Other aspects of the game he needed from his teammates to get over the hump. Game 5, 1991 finals. John Paxson hitting the last 3 shots. Now, I can go on and on with this. 92. Jordan's on the bench. The bench comes in and leads the charge in the comeback. Then Jordan seals the deal, right? Jordan scores all the points in the fourth quarter, like 6 or 7 straight points, but it was John Paxson who hit the final shot. Okay? So all this twisted around narratives to make LeBron look bad, I mean, it's bullshit to me, you know? Like, we need to stop all this mythical, mythology that one player could win a championship. If that's the case, then Allen Iverson would have beaten Shaq and Kobe's Lakers, right? If that's the case, LeBron would have got swept in the 2007 finals. If that's the case, Michael Jordan would have won in 1988 instead of 1991. And Wilt Chamberlain would have had like 9 or 10 championships. So, but people are going to skim past this. People are going to, not even try to hear me with this bullshit. And how people are just overrating Kyrie Irving. So, and like I said, when Kevin Durant comes back, he's not going to be having these 40-point games, man. He's not. He's not going to be having these 40-point games. Not with KD back and Harden being the facilitator. It just ain't gonna happen because he's gonna be the third best player on the team either way. Either way, the third best player on the team, either way. So, like I said, man, I look at shit differently. I don't look at stuff like, oh, this guy's alpha or this guy's this. I mean, there's leaders on the team, right? But everything has context. And people, when it comes to certain players, don't use context. Just say you don't like LeBron James as a basketball player. You think he's great, but that's not. People, cats need to be honest. One last time. It sounds like a broken record and shit. But people just need to say, I don't like LeBron James as a basketball player, and he's not my cup of tea.